Hello, my name is Giovanna Bernal. I'm a Panama attorney, and welcome to my channel. Today I'm gonna talk to you about the Friendly Nations visa for work reasons and what are the steps to apply for it. First of all, I want to tell you that if you want to apply for the Friendly Nations visa and get a permanent residence, you have to be a national of one of those countries that you see here. Then, there are three ways to apply. First, you can apply by investing in a property of at least $200,000. The other option is by setting up a bank account with a fixed term deposit of at least 3 years for the sum of $200,000. I'm gonna talk about those other two options in another video because today I want to focus on how it's gonna be if you apply for work reasons, meaning that you can find a job in Panama, you can send your resume to Panamanian corporations here and find a job with a minimum salary of $1,000. This is very important. And once you have this job, you just have to worry about getting an FBI report or a background check, have it legalized with apostille or sealed by your nearest Panama consulate in your country of origin or the place where you have lived in the last 2 years. If you are not work-oriented and you are more like a business person, you might think about also setting up a Panama corporation in Panama, and you can be employed by it. You can employ other people or you can employ yourself and then see when you grow, you employ more people and do some business in Panama. You can have an online business, or you can set up a branch from your another company that you might have elsewhere, or you can focus on the Latin American market, or you can just offer services or do business with Panamanians in the country. There are several activities that you can do here, and the requirements and the steps are like this. Once, you have to bring your background check. Remember that it has to be legalized with apostille, or it has to be legalized by the nearest Panama consulate. Second, 6 pictures. You need to have 6 pictures to proceed with the application and registration at the immigration offices. Third, you have to bring or you get from your corporation or your company a work letter. This company will write down a letter mentioning the salary, what are the responsibilities, and so on. The fourth step is getting a certificate of public registry of this Panama corporation. 5, it's business license, which is a license that Panamanian corporations get when they do business in Panama. If the company does not need a business license, there is a certification that will be issued by the Ministry of Commerce certifying that the company does not need a business license because it probably do services or type of activities that don't require to get it. And the 6th thing is to get a work permit. This is something that is done also in the whole process. So this is something that you don't really have to worry about because lawyers will take care of everything, all the paperwork and all the things that you'll need. You have to think in mind that when you decide finding a job or get a job here, it means that you have to pay income taxes because in Panama we have a territorial tax system, meaning that if you make income in Panama, you'll have to pay taxes depending if you are a physical person, you'll pay a special type of income tax, and if you are a corporation, it's another percentage of income tax. If you're an employee, you have to consider also that there are some other implications like Social Security. I'm gonna talk about this in another video, and this is it. You get a 6-month provisional ID once we submit the application, and during those 6 months, you get approval. Once you get approval, you get a 2-year provisional ID And after those 2 years, we can apply for permanent residence. As you see, once you get the permanent residence, you can get also the Panama ID, the one that we call cédula, and you're officially a Panama permanent residence. I hope this helps. If you have comments, please send them below here. If you want to contact me, please feel free to contact me. I can give you a free consultation on this matter. And please stay tuned. Welcome to my channel. Bye bye.